night, I was trying to watch. I was off Friday night, so which is rare. So I was trying to watch movies, and I could not get anything in.
Oh,
I
word.
couldn't get Amazon, and so when I got on this morning, I'm like, God dog it! So I reset the internet again. I was like, "Ugh, what the heck is going on with this internet?
I know. I
Oh,
hate
my
that.
glasses. Yeah, because I was like, I want to watch some movies,
Did you
but
watch
I end
anything?
up watching. I end up watching. Deja Vu was on TBS. Kev on stage and this other lady, I guess her name is Nia or something.
Mm-hmm.
They do this thing called Friday Night Vibes, which
What? I was about to say, you want to bring in the show and talk about it then?
oh yeah. Go ahead, go ahead.
Let's do that. Let's do our thing. Alrighty. Hey, welcome to the Saturday morning in the industry shop talk, hosted by the Black Filmmakers Lounge. We are the Black Filmmakers Lounge, is where independent filmmakers, world novelists, and professionals come together to gain insight and perspective through education, information, networking, and to discuss industry best practices that will advance the Black interdependent film community. I'm your host, Michael Melvin, with my co-host, Tamara T.K. Henderson, and Jacoby Simmons is out filming this morning, shooting, working hard,
Yay!
doing the DP work. So good morning, everybody. And TK, welcome back. uh, and yeah, I am relaxing in my new chair for Father's Day from my son.
Oh,
Yeah, he was here
okay.
visiting for the week. Too bad I didn't get to spend as much time. Mom got to spend time with him. I didn't. Well, we did after work, but I had to work. So
Oh,
it
okay,
is
cool.
what it is.
Yay!
So he got me a chair for Father's Day before he leaves. He's stationed, he's going to be stationed in Europe for a little while and then go
Yes.
to his captain's training. So, uh,
Oh, Captain. Okay.
yeah, he's going to be working on that. So
So
I'm
how does it
trying to get
feel?
used to the chair a little bit.
I know. I was like, how does it feel?
It feels a little tight. Not as wide as my other one was. But I went mesh because it's a computer chair and it has the leg extension part if I want to lay back or whatever. But I don't have the room to lay back. I got this thing behind me. But I'm gonna reconfigure my room and do a couple other things
Okay.
because I want to be able to. The more I'm thinking about stuff, I want to be able to help others who want to do podcasts live or
hmm
stream. So I want to create that environment, but I may
hmm
try to figure some other stuff out. Um, just never know. But yeah, filming and stuff like that, trying to get it together. How are you doing?
I am good. I have been, in Texas taking care of a lot of stuff for my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of financial stuff, a lot of medical stuff, a lot of stuff. It's always like one more thing. Oh, call the nursing home and tell them this, or call the nursing home and tell them this, or order me some DoorDash.
Right.
It had, it has been a lot, and revamping his house at the same time while he's in rehab. So when he comes back, he has, I threw away a lot of stuff. So,
Mm.
and then my mom, she now we don't usually bad mouth stuff. Let me tell you, Liberty Mutual has been the worst. So she's finally got her house almost finished in regards to repair from a year ago.
Okay.
Um, and so I've been able to come in because my mom does event. My mom is a super creative. My
Mm-hmm.
mom and my daughter are super creatives. So my mom has a lot of event stuff, a lot of craft stuff. So I have literally been going through from them packing up the house and doing the house and stuff. I've been going through every single piece of everything, like sorting
Mm.
everything, so she can go back and put it in her bins and label it and all that stuff. So, and of course I've been working and all of this stuff. But listen, Monday, I will be back in my word. I will be back working out. Like it has been a long 2.5 months, and I'll get back to Atlanta. Um, should be by the end of this month. I was supposed to come down for a wedding, so I'm like, am I
Okay.
gonna stay for the wedding
Yeah, it
It's
makes
in
more
it's
sense.
in Longview. Yeah, I was like, do I go back home for 2 weeks and come back for the wedding? You know what I mean, or just stay here? So, but I'm like, whew, I miss you guys. I was like, oh my goodness. So, just trying to do everything for everybody. But listen, I'm like, whew. So, anyway, um,
Well,
yeah.
God
So
is cute too.
a lot of good things, a lot of good things. Just taken care of because, bottom line is, God told me last year, don't worry about the delay because everything's going to happen back to back, and this is part of, for me, this stuff had to happen now because of what He's telling me is coming in the near
Mm-hmm.
future. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm ready. Of course, you guys already know. Uh, hashtag Jay's hard. So yeah, meeting with the, oh my God. So listen, guys,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I had a meeting with a music supervisor.
Okay.
I thought my head was going to explode. It wasn't my first meeting, it was the second meeting, but it had to do with like songwriting and publishing and all that stuff. I know that's your field, Michael. Listen, listen. Filmmaking, I know a little bit about. So when we talk about filmmaking,
Mm-hmm.
I can pretty much catch on to everything you're saying if I don't know.
Right.
Music, I
Whole
did
different
my
monster.
part. I did my part and made the music cues. And then when he talked about the songwriting and the splits and the split contract and the publishing, and I was like,
Yep.
but yes, we are gonna have a soundtrack. So Deja Vu, I did get to watch last night and part of Tenet. I thought it was interesting the color palettes they used
Okay.
for both. They were really dull, dull, dull.
Hmm.
Um, they were really dull, dull, dull on both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, so and I wonder why, because filmmaking is supposed to make us feel a certain type of way when we watch it, and the colors, we want something, and
Right.
the color palettes were both just dull, dull, dull. But what did you watch this week, Michael? Well, you probably didn't get to watch a whole lot since you were spending time with your son.
Well, we did watch some stuff because we actually went to see Bad Boys Ride or Die.
Okay,
We saw that opening night Thursday. That was
okay,
kind of the highlight because he was like, "We're going to go see Bad Boys, right?" Because his thing and our thing is going to the movies
uh huh,
and seeing certain movies and stuff. So we do that, and so we went to go see, Bad Boys Ride or Die. It was actually pretty good. I mean, I did not expect it not to be, but
I don't
it
know,
it it
because it was number
carried.
four. You was like,
Well, no, I like them. No, I like the one before. I take them for what they are. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
Like the mistake people tend to make about sorry, there we go. I take them for what they are. Is what
mm-hmm,
they're action movies. It's a buddy cop movie, like Lethal Weapon, like
mm-hmm,
there's there that's what they are, and it's one of the best ones out there. That whole now it's 4 films, so that whole saga,
mm-hmm.
and this one carries on from the last movie, of course, and I think if I know people want to say stuff about the Will Smith slap thing and like, oh, we can't support him. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. People have hit people as kids and adults, and I mean, they've done stuff. No one's perfect, and I think we miscommunicate the art for the person as well. Um, it's not like he committed this very ridiculous crime or something. You know what I mean? Like he ain't killed nobody or anything. Yeah, he smacked somebody, but and he smacked another actor, and that issue is between them, whether us as the public. I mean, I've enjoyed Chris Rock shows, I enjoyed Will Smith shows, and it's always like I don't get involved in all that stuff all the time, but it is what it is. I enjoyed it, and I'm still gonna be a Will
Good.
Smith
Okay.
fan. I know Emancipation took a slump because of that. But like I think we get caught up in so much stuff. It's unnecessary. Like it's not our issue, it's theirs. Let them handle it. And we as fans of film should go enjoy them and support, because one, you're not just supporting one person when you see a movie. You're supporting the crew, the camera people, the other actors. You know what I mean? Like people, boycott everything. You got to remember who else does it impact, not just that one person. But um, if you don't care for it, then don't go see it. But it was a good movie. I've already pre-ordered it so my dad can watch it, and so that's where I'm at. You there, TK? Oh, I think you're frozen. You might be frozen. You got to probably wait. Oh, here we go. All right, you got frozen on me. That's what happened.
I listen.
Uh-oh.
Does it again? I'll just jump on my phone.
Oh, no, 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 no. You're good. Um,
What happened to me?
it's something happened. I don't know what happened, but let's see.
Where
Your
am
camera went out for a
I?
second. You're there. You're here, but you're not there. Uh,
I'm not
let's try
there.
that
Want me to?
again. Yeah, let's try it
I
one
can.
more time. Let's fix it. This is what happens with technical issues. What's up, Derek? How you doing, man? He said AI. Yo, we got to get you back up on this show. Um, let's make it happen. Boom. There we go.
I know
Derek
you
said
guys missed me
AI.
again. So sorry. Hey, Derek. Um, what else did you get to see? Oh,
Oh,
you were talking
so I watched Star Wars Acolytes. That
about.
was really good. They had 2 episodes. Um, then I watched Power Book 2 this season. This is a final season, so I think it's going to be 10 episodes. I can't. I mean, 20 episodes instead of just a normal 10. I think it's like
Hmm.
we're going to watch 10. There's going to be a break. Then they come back again in September. So
So they are
it's
coming back.
just no, but it ends this year. Like this is it, right? From what I
Power
think I
and
gathered, I got to
how
research it
many?
again.
How many? Is this? How many seasons is this for Power? Book
For book
what? Four?
two, it'll be
Oh,
four
book
seasons
two.
for book two. Yeah.
Book two. Okay.
Derek's
Mayor
watching
of
Mayor of
King.
Kingstown. Yo, I just started watching that. I got to keep watching it. Um, yeah,
Okay.
that's a tough show. That's a good show. Like, it's an unexpected storyline in a sense. The
Is
way
it
it's
violent?
played. Yeah. It's cops, robbers, criminals, and the people in between. Like
There's
the
some shows that
premises
are
is there's these brothers who are like, one of them is like the mayor of Kingstown, right?
okay.
And he negotiates between the cops and the criminals, and he makes
Okay.
things happen to keep things pleasant, because the city in which they live, Kingstown, has like 50,000 prisoners, because it has like
Oh.
4 or 5 different prisons. Can't
Uh-huh.
recall exactly how many, but it's like there's more prisoners, and they're like they try to get them rehabilitated when they come out, or they be like, hey, you need to leave, because it's a prison
Yeah.
city. It's a prison town or prison city. So that's kind of the premises. I won't tell any more, um, because it's for
Okay.
people to see. But yeah.
Okay. So okay. Um, I was gonna say something else when Derek chimed in, and I forgot. I forgot.
You
Okay.
forgot?
Yeah, I forgot. Mayor of Kingstown. Okay.
Yeah. We were talking about Bad Boys for Life. I mean, Ride or Die, and then
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It was something when Derek, yeah, because you were talking about enjoying it as it is. Oh,
yeah.
we were talking about Power Book, Power
Book
Book
4.
4. No, okay, no, you know what I was thinking about? What else did you get to watch?
The Star Wars Acolytes, the Power Book 4, and I want to say I think that's it, except for my occasional constant rerun of 2.5 Men. But
Mhm. Well, you
So
you guys were talking about AMC last week, and
yes.
AMC. But you know what? AMC does use a lot of independent filmmakers. If you go to AMC's website to pull up films,
Hmm.
you will go to certain ones. Like they have it at different ones.
Oh,
So a lot of the independent films there are a lot of independent films coming through AMC, but you will pull up one particular theater. It'll have like three independent films.
that's what. But what I was saying is, if
Mhm.
they partnered with independent filmmakers to screen them across the country, just like they do with the studios.
You're talking about like because they have AMC Independent. So that's how
Right.
those filmmakers are getting in. So you're talking about filming them more than one theater.
Screening them, doing them on multiple screens in multiple
Making
cities.
them more wide
Right.
make it widespread on the screens.
Right. Because
Especially the ones that are doing good.
yeah, but that gives them all a chance to do good, and that also gives AMC their hand in the pot to make some money by partnering with a lot of independent filmmakers. If you're splitting the split 50% because you're screening them, you're getting AMC is going to make more than they would if they're screening feature these studio films in a sense. I mean, not totally more, but excuse me, they have more to gain this way.
Hmm.
And I think that the models for everything is going to have to change. And I think I put up a post and I sent you the article about
Hmm.
Sony making
Yes.
cutbacks and
Yes.
trying to go fully AI on a lot of stuff to make cuts. And I questioned this to people, especially our people, independent filmmakers. A studio going to AI only opens the door for creatives because here's what I look at. These are middlemen. These are CEOs and middlemen who don't necessarily have the creativity or impact on film. They just make the decisions to invest the money.
Exactly.
So they're easily starting to if we really understand capitalizing ourselves, right? We remove them. And the studios will need the independent filmmakers and the people who make the films because you're now removing them. They gotta because but the problem with AI would be this, and I say this, and I was thinking about this. We have to regulate AI that if AI wanted to use Pixar's style of animation and so forth, it's only tailored to Pixar
Hmm.
because that's something they created and developed, right? So no one can just go use that style out of nowhere and just start making films that look like Pixar films and mimic the storylines because everybody has a certain wiring style, certain way in which they film, the style in which they make their projects that always speaks about them. Spike Lee. It's something about his style of writing and style of filmmaking. So when someone's copying Spike Lee, because it kind of will be blatant because he has a particular way in which he writes and stylizes his work. And that's for any person that's a creative, right? TK, you write a particular way. You might have been trained in writing, but your thought process comes from you, your essence,
Hmm.
right? So if we can regulate AI that it can't copy TK's writing style without TK's permission, and the thing with these AI companies, they're trying to get your permission by the fact that you're using their software. I say if I'm
The
paying for
showrunner.
something,
Yeah.
yeah, if I'm paying for something, you can't use my stuff because I'm paying for it. I'm paying to use your stuff, so you can't just grab my stuff. Like that's how we have to
Oh
regulate companies,
wow.
right? Think
That's
about
gonna
that,
be
right?
crazy.
Because here's why a Facebook, Meta, all of them can grab your information and share it and sell it. It's free. They're not charging you to use it. The reason they're not charging because they can make more money by selling your info.
Mm, mm,
So
mm, mm.
if you went to a company that you had a subscription, it'd be tougher for them to sell your stuff because I'm like, yo, I'm paying for this. You shouldn't be selling my stuff.
Mm,
You see what I'm saying? So
mm, mm,
when
mm.
people are paying for AI and paying to use it for their works, AI should be learning and sharing it with another AI somewhere else under the same company that somebody else is using, so they can use style and material. No, it should be developed for in-house, particularly for you. So if a Pixar uses AI, it's for Pixar because they're saying for animation within the next couple years, you're cutting
Mm-mm-mm.
workloads by 90%. Like it takes about 500 people,
Wow.
and within 5 years, you'll have less than 10% of those people working on an animated film. Right. So that
Wow.
less if 10% is 50 people. So you'll have less than that. So that should tell us that where things are going. But I was somewhat opposed to AI to an extent, but now I'm like, I'm not totally opposed to anything because you're gonna have to learn the tool. It already existed in many ways and it's gonna happen. So you can't stop it from happening. However, you can control in the way in which it happens. Because I'm paying for a service. It's like my phone company should not be selling my information if I'm paying for it. Why am I paying for a
Right.
phone service then? It should be private.
Right.
This is a contract between you and me. If I give my number out, that's my right. I'm using that number. That's why I'm paying for it. So people can call me. You shouldn't be taking my number and divvying it up to different people out there that they can just call me randomly. You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't happen
Yeah,
because
that's
I'm paying for a
crazy. But
service.
so how? But the question is, we don't own AI. How do?
Right.
It's like we how do we can we how can we
But we
control that?
own our styles. We own now we have to either push. Here's the thing. So you either push for the fact that the way in which you think and operate and create is either trademarked or copyright or whatever, right? You because you can't copyright AI, right? So the way if AI is mimicking you, it needs permission to mimic you. And if you're not getting residuals constantly from it mimicking and being used by you, then what's the point, right? Because I'm a person, businesses, companies, and corporations are going to always find ways to cut corners, create standards, cut corners, and create more corners to cut so they can profit. That's the era of
It's
business.
you know, I mean, it's really kind of it's really crazy
Mm-hmm.
because just like the actress that just sued the company for using her image that she told them they couldn't use.
Right. Uh,
Um,
okay.
but guess what? They got all the publicity they needed because they still got publicity because they used it and she sued them after she told them they couldn't. So then they were named and then they got publicity anyway. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it
And
was
that's
kind of
the
like a
thing.
losing battle because they still got in the end they still got what they wanted,
So
which
and
is
that's
publicity.
where and see that's where we have to figure out a way to you got to cut out the middleman. Like I'll be very straightforward. The music industry, the film industry, they know one thing that creatives aren't paying attention to. They need you more than you need them. They have the bulk money, but if you can make some good films and just here's a mistake we make. I can make a film, and if I can get 10,000 people to watch it a month, that's more than, and I only spent maybe 10, 20 grand to make the film, or 30 grand or 50 grand. I can make my money back if every month I'm getting 10,000 plus people to watch it, right?
Hmm.
I don't have to hit million numbers. I don't have to have over a million views and this and that. They do. They sink a lot of money into stuff and advertising and production for a reason. We don't necessarily do that on the independent side. I mean, we know there's different structures of independent films, right? Where there are
Hmm.
some that low budget. I know people go no budget. There's no such thing to me as no budget because in order to have a
Ultra
camera,
low is the
yeah,
closest to
ultra
no
low would
budget.
be the way. But
Ultra
there's
low.
there's no way you have no budget because you have to have equipment. How else are you filming something? So you had to have a budget to have that. But you got your different tiers and up into the millions where there's independent films. But the studios have always been cookie cutters. They've always been a certain way. That's why Hollywood needed the creatives in the 60s and 70s, like a Scorsese and so forth, because of the style of filming they did, right? That would bring people back to the theater, bring people um, to want to watch it because they're competing with television. So Now that meld is impossible and inevitable that theaters and television were going to just come together at some point. Now we're streaming it. So thank you, M. Legend Brown. Yeah, micro budget. So it's basically at this point, TK, you froze on me. It's basically at this point. Hopefully she'll get back in, and hopefully she can hear me. Sorry, y'all. Technical difficulties. This is internet. Wherever you go, there's a lot of storms and stuff happening. So, or that has happened. So, we as the independents, we have a better sense of control with this rise of streaming, because I always said, and I've told people before, streaming is going to hurt music and hurt film for industries, because if you're paying a small subscription, how do all those millions of albums and movies make money back? Oh, okay, you can hear me, TK. Cool. You can get back in. Or I can put you on the phone. So it's kind of like one of those things we have to try to figure out, understand, is how do we leverage ourselves, because we don't need them anymore as much as we keep thinking we do. We keep thinking we need their money so bad that we sell out our stuff or we give away materials. And that's why they're trying to do things in perpetuity and all this stuff with the actors and everything, because they no matter what, they want to keep being able to make a film regardless of, and they're just going to throw out cookie cutters again. They're just going to rehash old IP that they own into movies or shows. And the creative people, you don't have to do that. You don't have to make a cartoon called Good Times because you own the Good Times IP, and you can throw it onto a cartoon. It has really nothing to do with the actual show, and it's more damaging than it needs to be. You don't have to rehash a Starsky and Hutch movie or this, that. That's where we have that power, because we're that creative. They're just rehashing old IP, old storylines. So if we use AI to its potential, those reboots. So if we use AI to its potential, we can change and shift things. So that's where I'm at, and where I'm thinking we need to start thinking as a whole. TK, let me see if I can bring you in. Well, can you hop in, or what? You can use the phone. What you want to do, sis? But that's what we need to be talking about. That's the conversation we need to be having. The non-transparent aggregators. I am with you on that, Derek. I'm gonna repost that. Boom, because we do. Everything at this point in age, we need to require everybody to be transparent from every aspect of business. Got you. TK be on in a sec, y'all. We need to push for transparency on every level. That way it's beneficial for every side of this, right? And we're not thinking about that. We're creatives. The powerful thing about creatives is once we understand business, ooh, we're dangerous, because we know how to be creative and we know how to flow in business. So we can structure things the way we want it to play out for ourselves. And we have the thing is, and I used to tell people, because I said, never make decisions because you lack. Make decisions even though you lack. Like, you got to be willing. Somebody put money on the table for you. You got to sometimes be willing to go ahead and say no if it doesn't suit you, because you still want to always get something on the tail end, on the back end consistently. You still want residuals. You don't want to sell off what you own. You want to constantly make money. That's why some real estate investors, some flip, some rent. They know, the renters know that you're always going to keep somebody renting, keep somebody coming back. They're going to constantly make money, and they can sell it eventually if they choose to. And there's different types of structures to real estate, but those are just two most people are familiar with. But because there's some people who buy multiplexes, they stay in it for a little while and live in it and let someone else rent. and those renters are paying their mortgage for a while until they're ready to turn around, flip it, and sell it again and make money off of it and buy another one to upgrade. So there's different ways to do that. But that's what we have to understand this film side is how do we leverage ourselves? Because I was like, I thought about it. I was thinking about it as I read the Sony article. And if y'all want, I can repost it up in here in the comments. No, it's actually posted on our page. If you go to the Black Filmmakers Lounge page, it is posted in there. And of course, we there you go, sis.
Look, I have to jump in on my phone. I don't know what's going on with this internet. It is. Hold on, guys. Let me set the camera. Oh,
It is what it is, man. You know, all internet's not fast and quick.
let me
Yeah.
give her.
But see, and that's because even us, like even getting rid of
Well,
cable.
like I said, since they did the construction,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, since they did the construction, been doing a lot of construction over here. Yeah, so I was like, I restarted and all that stuff. But no, I mean, trying to, like you said, but trying to figure out how we can take the areas we can take control.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're, like you said, like Derek was saying about the aggregators, and like um, you were saying about taking the control back. But it's like, how do we do it in the age of AI when our resources are limited? You know what I mean? So it's finding those workarounds.
Well, here's the thing. In the age of AI, we have plentiful resources now. That's the dangerous part for the studios because AI isn't expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It's cheaper. I can subscribe to an AI voice thing for 200 a year, two something a year, right? I'm a businessman. I'm gonna put that in
Mm-hmm.
my taxes and stuff anyway, right? It's gonna be a write-off. And if I use it the whole year to help develop our content, boom. Then there's AI for script writing, right? That you can incorporate all our software that we use, like Final Cut, all of them. I mean, Final Cut, Final Draft, all of them are gonna start using pieces of AI anyway to simplify the process and make it quicker to streamline,
Right.
right? So we just gotta learn it. I think the mistake is people going, oh no, it's inevitable. I just showed my son last night. I said, listen, I said, if people aren't getting on this VR, AR creation, they're gonna be left behind. Right. And I showed him, I said, give it 5 years. Right now, you can go buy a 360 treadmill to be in VR and AR for about $1,500.
A treadmill?
It's a treadmill that you walk on. So that when you're got them goggles on, you're moving around in any direction. You got to remember. So that's that's right now for $1,500 to $2,500. You can buy a treadmill for VR and AR. Right? You can buy VR AR goggles at the cheapest. I think in the threes with the Meta, and then of course the Apple Vision Pros up to about $4,000. Right? You can, so that's right there is immersion in VR and AR, walking around, moving around. Excuse me. They also have I lost the word. The suits, the AR VR suits that you can wear, you can feel the touch, everything to your body. They're available. So people buy stuff. They buy what they want to buy. You can mention inflation, you can mention all these things, but people buy stuff. But I told him, I said, what will work for people is when you start creating the content, whether it's from education, because we at work, our students, we took them outside to a truck, and the truck has virtual reality. They don't have to wear the goggles; it's all on screen,
Yeah.
right? But it was medical. Yeah. It was all science and medical. So they saved a woman. It was with George Washington University. They saved a woman who was in the woods who'd been stung by a bee. They were EMTs, and they went through the process of how to be an EMT and what they should ask her, the questions, they had a microphone that picked them up, their hands, movement, everything, right? Same thing you're going to do with VR and AR. Then They had another one where it was a football player. He injured himself playing football. He went to the hospital. You walked him through the process of helping him with his broken limb. The entire process. It's training. Military uses it for training, everything. The key is to make it cheaper that it gets in everyone's household, right? Well, that's where filmmaking needs to be, right? We're with the, I was showing them then with the Apple Vision Pro, their beta for their, it's not FaceTime, it's the other one, Persona, virtual persona. You can now see the hands of the person and have them sitting on the couch next to you in your room, and they see the same thing because it has cameras. And you guys can sit together in different places and watch a movie together. We have to understand the business of the tools and how we can leverage all these tools and start shooting these films that are made for that, designing the platforms that we can screen for stuff like that as well. You have to see the businesses coming. And I tell them, in 5 years, you're going to have a lot more people using VR and AR. It's already projectors on your car screen, on your windshield. When you're driving, it puts the map up now. Like, it's here. It's not going anywhere. And AI is here, and it's not going anywhere. So if we start to understand all those entities and how we can utilize them as independents, now we shift the game. Because that middleman a lot of these middlemen can't create. They need us. They can't create. It's like I was talking to my wife, why do we need car dealerships anymore? We should be able to buy the car direct and drop it off at our house. Because there already charges for delivery fees when you buy the car. So why need them? Why can't we negotiate directly with the company? You start cutting the middle people out. That's where the jobs go, but you're cutting out the middle people. Hey, I got the cash, I got the money. Let me get this guy out the way. Let's negotiate here. Give me their deal and let me buy the vehicle.
So you're saying as filmmakers, we need to learn how to use more of just the business of AI, but also take the shortcuts with AI, which will cut jobs
as independent filmmakers. But does it cut the job? Here's the thing. If everybody in the filmmaking aspect are the artists and creators using it, so if my lighting tech guy, I don't need, maybe I don't, independent filmmakers don't have big crews like motion pictures studios do anyway. We don't. We can't afford it. So if we're still using the 10 man crew, as we already do, then we're not cutting any jobs. We're still keeping our people employed and using their skill sets. We're improving it with the use of AI.
Ooh, you said how many?
What? On a normal independent crew, think
all
about
the
it.
independent films I've been on, it's been at least
20 at the top, but you don't have thousands of workers like motion pictures.
Oh, do. Yeah. No. On the independent film crews I've been on, it's been about 25 on the crew.
Exactly.
Period.
You're not, you don't have those large numbers as an independent. So us learning AI and using it for our work only improves the quality of work and helps us streamline and get our work done quicker, and helps us with things like visual effects and sound effects and all that. That's all it's improving for us. It doesn't. So we're using the same crew size that studios are trying to cut back to. We're already there. Unfortunately,
we're already using that. Yeah. I got you.
There's Derek.
Exactly. Learning the business of it. So, yeah, learning the business of it. I want to do some research on I'll see, because I'm like, what part do I need when I go through every aspect of my film, what aspect do I need AI that is not covered, but to enhance it versus cutting a job?
Right. And I think that's what
since, like you said, we're already at that scaled down crew.
Yeah, we're already there. So it's, for us, it's just learning how to use a tool to help us, because we don't have a big crew, because we don't have access to stuff. But if I know I'm good at being a DP and I'm learning how to use AI to design lighting, like it's impossible that it cuts every job. But Derek says, I just think some of it's taken away from the
Right.
artistry. And Derek, I kind of can agree
Now,
with you, but like I said, if you're a creator, you're just using it as a tool. Like I don't complain about the next best paintbrush. Like I paint, I draw, I sculpture, I airbrush. I don't complain about an airbrush versus a regular brush and how the airbrush gets paint out quicker. You know, it streams like my work. It's a different style, it's a different texture that goes into it. Um, but I think that we have to understand how we can use these things and learn how to use them for ourselves because they're not going to just move us out the way. Let's see what M. Legend Brown is saying here. So yes, Claude has helped me become a better writer.
mhm.
Our film we just released, we did music and color and sound design with AI. And AI's been here. Like I remember I had an editing software that had a music composing software that you imported into it and it will compose the music specifically for your project and have the highs and the lows and a change of climax and everything as you tell it to do it. You didn't do it. You're not a music creator. It did it for you. So, and this was years ago. It was Sony Vegas that I was using, and it was their software that they had a plugin for or whatever. And you know how long ago I used Sony Vegas, TK? Remember, like that's a
So
long time ago.
that
That's
cut, yeah. So they cut out about one.
TK dropped that again. Let's see here. So yeah, we're sorry for the technical difficulties today. We doing our best. Things happen. You know, it is what it is. But let me see here. I got my cable to. Where's this thing at? That's not the one I want to use. So chime in if you're watching in the audience. If you're here, what are you thinking? Here we go. Here's my sister right here. All right.
I am sick of this internet today.
It's all right. It happens. I told you it was a couple. We had
I am sick of
7
this internet
tornadoes touching
today.
ground the other day around here, 2 days ago. Shoot, I understand.
Hold on, I have us on two screens now. Okay, so yes, Sony Vega was a long time ago. So if M Legend did so the music, the sound design, and the coloring, so that took out a whole bunch of jobs for sure. Um, so that definitely took out a whole bunch of them, and that's the scary part. It's as an independent filmmaker. Yes, there are shortcuts because we don't have the budgets, but at the same time, it's rough trying not to. I mean, trying to save jobs and cut corners at the same time with AI. And what, like Derek was saying, oh shoot, what did Derek say? Hold on, where'd my
I'll go
chat
back
go?
to it because it's the artistry he was talking about.
The artistry. That's what I was thinking, Derek. Is because it's like you can create all of this, but creating the heartbeat, a computer cannot create a heartbeat.
Exactly.
It can regulate a heartbeat or like tell you what's wrong with the heartbeat and all that stuff, but it cannot create the heartbeat. So creating the heart of a movie, like when you put all that stuff in AI, it's going to be empty and it's going to feel that way. So that's when you said that, Derek, I was already thinking about that. It's going to feel empty. So here's the question. Um and I don't think it ever will, but um thinking that AI, like the only way to film make in the next couple of years is going to be only if we use AI. Like it's
I
the
don't think
only
so.
way. And
Yeah, I don't think that would be the only way.
I think traditional filmmaking is still going to be around.
Yeah. And Derek said, I think it's good for B-roll.
Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
I told people AI can't make people right now. It really can't. You remember the fingers? Remember I showed you the lobster hands and all that stuff? Yeah. And the six. So it can't do that. And I don't want it to. You know, if I was doing animation, I probably wouldn't care as much. But and those are the industries that's probably going to hit first, is the animation and the music and so forth. And people who, like, let's say you need a storyboard designed for your film, where you can use AI to design your storyboard and show your story, and you can tell it what you want it to do and so forth. But and the people are going to say that's going to take a job. Everything's going to take jobs. Like, at the end of the day, you got to
Everything's going to
realize
take
something.
jobs.
Everything is going to start removing jobs. The key for the person, and so the question is, and I always ask this when I was teaching entrepreneurship and everything, and when I was teaching, how many of you guys want to work for somebody? Because the problem is, the most people work for somebody else because they think it's a guaranteed check. And that is an illusion. And I have to share, it's an illusion because, and it's dangerous. And I'll tell you why. I'll give you a couple things. People who get employed, like when I got employed, right? I had to work 2 weeks before they started even paying me. Before I saw my first check, I gave them work. As a freelancer, independent contractor, I got a check up front before I started working. See the difference? When I teach people business, I collect a fee up front to lock me in to show up. And you can't take all of it back either. That's in my contract if you cancel. Right? That's what we do. But the person who goes work for a company, if the company cancels them and they showed up, but they didn't need them anymore, they don't pay them for that day at all. You came in the morning, hey, we don't need you. We sorry. Or they call you on the phone.
Okay.
You don't told other people you took on a job, and they don't look to hire other people. And you show up to this job, they're like, you know what? We end up changing our mind. Right? And so you don't get a check for that. But if I show up, if I do the contract, start the contract, and you call me, hey, we're canceling, I have a fee that says I get an X amount because you canceled. And that harmed me for other work. That's what we do. That's business. We set that up. We've always understood that. Workers work. And I always said to them, if the company shuts down, like you work 2 weeks in this company goes out of business, and you show up to the doors and they're locked. If they're out of business, they can't pay you, but yet you still rendered work for 2 or 3 weeks and you haven't got a check for it. Nothing for it. And we trust that about companies. But business people don't. We're like, yo, upon signing this contract, you need to render X amount of money.
We do. Yeah. We think that's more of a guaranteed income than anything. We think that's guaranteed income.
Mm-hmm. And so we operate trusting big businesses, but that's not the way it really is. And so I teach that because I said, that's the mindset. You think that's a solid check. I don't. Okay. It's not a solid check. Solid check is when I go out and I get a gig and they sign my contract and they pay me my fee up front, or they pay a portion of the fee and it's in there. They can't get it back or whatever. That is what it is, because I agreed to do it. And whatever you faltered on, that's on you. Now, if I didn't render work or didn't do things because of me, that might be different. But if it's because of you, hey, I still get paid.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. We're in an interesting time.
Because think about actors. If you lock a Denzel or Will or somebody in, or De Niro or whatever, to your film, you lock them in, you pay their upfront fee first before you start filming. Now, if the film gets scrapped, guess what they still get to keep?
That deposit. It's called a SAG deposit. If you shoot union films, you know that it's called a SAG deposit, because they're gonna get a fee whether this film comes out or finished getting shot or whatever the case is. That SAG
you were
deposit
locking them in to use them to say, hey, I got this movie and such is going to be in it, and then you were using them, so they're still getting paid for that. And if you don't get the money you need, that's on you.
That is on you.
So, and that's where we have to understand that. So, because we're always busy about working for somebody. And I'm not gonna say every business is thriving, but like right now, let's just think about it. You log on to Facebook and Instagram, you see all these independent platforms popping up. They coming up on our page trying to do their independent platform, and there's a bunch of them. And I said you're gonna oversaturate the market. You don't want to do that. Y'all want to come up with at least one good platform. Y'all need to come together. And they're like, oh, again.
Oh,
I'm like, that's dangerous. If you don't come together and you got too many platforms, people get too many choices. They get over. They're like, you lose interest.
it looks like Paramount Plus may be up for sale.
Ooh.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that article. So when you said that, I was like, where is? Okay, this is the article you sent us. But yeah, I saw that last night. I saw that last night. They are looking about, and now, okay, I was like, Paramount Plus is up. So if Paramount can't sustain a platform and they have to sell it,
And that's why I said there's too many
mm,
independent platforms thinking they're going to do something that Netflix did. Netflix was an anomaly, and that's the problem. People don't understand. Netflix and YouTube are somewhat anomalies.
mm-hmm,
They were unique because they were the only one at the time who did it or did
right,
it well, right? And then people started to pull away from them, saying, "I can do that," and you can't because they've already had the infrastructure built in. It's not saying you can't do it. It's that um, the whole Paramount Global is on the market. Ooh, that's what Jalen just said. So Paramount itself is looking to sell it, not just Paramount Plus. Oh, TK got frozen. We're gonna call this the frozen episode. Um TK, this is gonna be called the frozen episode.
I am really getting annoyed. This is annoying because when I was on,
Your computer's saying, "Hey, you talking about me?" This is the frozen episode, y'all.
yeah, so when I'm on my phone, I'm on mobile data. I just did the Wi-Fi on my phone to see if it worked, but of course, but I'm doing my mobile data. My mobile data should not be affected. So when it went out earlier, what you call it? But anyway, so M Legend was saying, Denzel is the only one for pay or play. So pay or play means what? That you have to have a budget. What is a pay or play? Break it down.
So
Like one thing we got to remember, guys. One thing we got to remember, guys, and this is for all of us, um, for me, myself included. We are working on. This is the best tips and practices for interdependent filmmaking, and a lot of times we can't just throw out phases and stuff that skate over it. So I have to be careful of that. I have to be careful of that as well. That's why I'm always like, oh wait, if you say it, break it down, because there are people that will watch this or watch this on the replay and not understand every
because
term that's used.
because
So
we
our goal is to break things down for people to understand.
yeah, we had to learn that because we would get questions later. What does this mean, or what's this acronym you used? And what would end up happening is we had to go back, and so what we decided every show we want to make sure that we say what needs to be said for the plain in plain text for
Yes.
people because we got people who've never done a movie before who's trying to figure it out, people who just started but don't know what they don't know until
Mm-hmm.
we say something, actually, which is interesting. But I said it earlier, he gets paid. With that, what he's saying is Denzel gets paid regardless of, because you put money up front for him. So like I thought the fee was like 20 mil, right? And he gets 10 mil up
Yeah.
front, right? He gets that 10 million up front. Now, if the movie is never produced or made, he keeps his 10 mil.
Come on,
Okay.
Dean. Come
Gets
on,
that
Dean.
20 mil on the tail end. But hold up, Derek just posted. All right. He gets paid full price. Oh, okay. So he gets paid his full pay, regardless if you shoot it or not. And if you change the shoot date, he gets a full pay again. So he's again the business structure, right? This is a business structure. He's getting paid because you're messing with his time. Time is money. And this is why I said when you in business, you're either, if you're an average employee, you get paid after you done worked. You
Right.
see? But everybody else who is independent, we get paid before we start working. Like my time, you to lock
Right.
my time in, hey, I need this portion of my pay up front so that I don't take on another gig.
Of my pay up front.
You know what I mean? And so
Yep.
I was like, TK out
Yep.
here remixing me.
I've had, yeah, I had a contract once. Yeah, I've had contracts where it's been, yeah, somebody paid me a deposit and they decided not to shoot it. I didn't get the full amount, but they decided not to write the script, and it was like $1,700. And I emailed them, and I was like, let me tell you, this script would have, when I said it would have, your heart would have been just like, oh, it was so heart wrenching. But they paid me $1,700, and they didn't shoot it, and it was like they never came back. They never. It was. I wanted to write that movie so bad, and for it to be filmed for the public to see. It was so heart wrenching. It was a 9/11 story. It was a true story about from 9/11.
Oh yeah, I remember
But
that.
um,
Okay.
I told my supervisor at the time, I was telling her about the movie, and she was bawling. Do you hear me? I hadn't even written. I was just like, "This is the story," and she was crying so hard. I was like, "No," and that was just me telling her. Just imagine watching it. But yeah. Look, I can't wait to be on the big scale where I'm gonna get that big paper, and then if you don't write the script, I'm like, thank you for paying my mortgage for the next year or two, and I appreciate it.
And that's the
Sorry you didn't
thing.
get to do your thing.
Because in
Paramount is
businesses,
part of BET.
well, no, BT is a
What?
part of Paramount. Yeah, Paramount owns BT because that's all. What's the name? The parent company is I'll remember in a second.
Viacom?
Viacom. Yeah. There's all these
Ah,
subsidiaries
so
of
that's
subsidiaries. Yeah.
I know. I wonder what other platforms they have. So that means they have BET Plus. So I
Yeah.
wonder what other platforms are under Viacom and why they're only looking to sell Paramount. It said I read the article, but anyway, I read the article. I'm gonna have to go on the line. I'm gonna have to go and post it. But interesting,
It's like,
interesting.
remember when I don't know if you were in a conversation and when we talked about it, where we talked about Disney Plus now connecting the subscriptions to
Yes,
Max with Disney Plus, and I said, hey,
yes.
I think that Disney may try to acquire Warner Brothers or certain IPs from Discovery, because
Mm,
ever since Discovery took over Warner Brothers, most of the cases they didn't know what to do with it. The HBO, Warner Brothers, all that, they don't know what DC. Because remember that AOL had them at first, Time Warner, right?
hmm.
And AOL was
Okay.
selling off the pieces. So it's kind of like, and that's why I tell everybody, you got to study the business and break that down if you're going to be a business owner, right? Or to even the business structure helps you understand what's going on. Because I think they never know how to correctly use DC. They created the DC app, then they changed it and pushed it over to HBO Max, and they did it's constantly. And I think that Discovery bit off more than it can chew, taking over Warner, and they don't know how to, because that's not their lane. Discovery are the people who make, like, HGTV, the Cookie Channel, what is it, Shark Week, all that stuff, right? That's what Discovery's known for. We don't know Discovery to make action films and stories. There's more like documentaries and reality. So and so if you're not, that's not your pocket, it gets dangerous for you, right? Because they own
Yeah.
part of OWN, right? They own most of OWN, because I think Oprah's at, I don't know how much more she sold off and took stock in, but Yeah, Viacom, MTV is also with BT, Viacom, VH1, all of that's owned by Viacom. So that's the other thing, right? So uh, they're not the same anymore. All these things are not the same anymore as what we are used to. Think about it. When's the last time you went to go watch some music videos
Right.
on MTV and BET, right? So they had to develop in channels, and all they do is rehash. All BT does to me is take some MTV reality shows or stuff and change it up for its black audience or urban audience, right? That's how I feel.
And it works. It's worked. Yeah, they have an audience, so it works. M Legend, what's the name of the movie that you released with those things with using AI so we can go watch it as an example? Well, watch it in support and then watch it, as well as an example of seeing the the color, the light, the color, the sound design, and the music with AI.
And while he's doing that, there was another person who put up an AI. There's a couple people who did some short films with AI, and we watched them. Like they're not using camera shots and angles. They're not all the creative side of filmmaking is missing from some people's AI work, right? And so I've noticed that. And they're like, oh, my film is AI. And I'm like, it's not a film. It's like if your camera isn't moving, like we're used to the camera movements. We're used to certain cuts. We're used to certain camera angles and lighting and stuff. Those things, if you're just doing faces straight on talking in one spot and it doesn't move, it's not a film to me. It feels like something for YouTube.
Head thing that you put up.
What'd you say? TK? Yeah.
You talking about that talking head
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah. You remember that film? The films I sent you?
Right.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Um, a heart that forgives too. The battle within. So in Legends Browns, a heart that forgives too. They use the AI music and um, I'll go back to what he said. What's up, Darrell? Sorry, man. All this happening. We doing what we can't do today. Internet is internet.
Such a great conversation. Such a great conversation, and I've only dropped out like 5 or 6 times.
But yeah, I mean, and I'm not on this AI thing. Like some people have really taken to AI so much. I played around with it. I've been playing around. I showed you. I've been playing around with it, testing things out, see where it's gonna go. How's it viable? Like I there was a software, and I'm not gonna say that TK. There's a software, and it has the kid's voice. And because I use AI at work, because when I teach my students, I know I had some students turn in a script they did in AI, and I could tell, right? Because AI does not know how to write scripts.
Come on, y'all.
And
Not to you, to any other teacher but you. Why have you out of all the teachers would do that? Hey, come
so
on, we know.
I'm sitting there reading it, and I was like, AI wrote this. They're like, no, what are we? No, your script isn't formatted as a script, first of all, and is formatted in a way in which AI will write the script because you're not using script software. So y'all plugged it into
I
Canva,
love
one
the
of them
fact.
things, and told it what you needed.
I love the fact that you, Jacoby, Kelly, like Thaddeus, Dr. Jones. I love the fact that y'all are teaching and exposing these kids to hard stuff in 7th and 8th grade. You know what I mean? Like I love it. I love it. Just think when they get 11th grade. I mean,
Yeah, because Jacoby's got
from
high
the
school, so
exposure
it's
and the
just like
heart, the on top of them teaching that you guys are doing, I love it. I absolutely love it.
it's if you think
These
about it,
kids are going to be amazing.
because we could get like I got middle school and I used to teach high school, but then Jacoby has high school, Thaddeus has college. You know what I mean? Like if we
And
wanted to,
Kelly
we could
Kelly
create
has high
that.
school as well. Yeah,
See, there
Kelly
you
has
go.
high
Yeah.
school as well. Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. I 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 don't want to go teach. I just want to come in as a guest, But,
Oh, my
but I
kids
love it.
loved it when you came in and talked to them when I was doing high school because you had
Yes.
taught them so much. You made them think about stuff they weren't thinking about, right? Just the
And
simplest
now,
things.
look, now I have a whole workshop. Like now I have a whole workshop set up to go through the. I did it as a team building exercise with the Boys and Girls Club.
Yep.
I did the same. Remember, I did it on here too, but the same workshop I used for the kids, I used for the same exact workshop for the adults, and it worked. So that made me excited. So I'm like, that's exciting. So
Yeah.
when I do go to film festivals and all that stuff and and do more workshops, um, I yeah, it's exciting. But I just love that because that stuff. Like I grew up in Bastrop. We got wood shop and cooking class. That was
Mm.
it. Like now, and probably sewing, in FHA. I mean FAA, which I was never in, but I was never in FFA. That tells you I'm from the small town. But yeah, so I love that. These kids are going to be so on point. I cannot wait to see the future of the kids that you guys have trained.
But that's
It's
the
going to be
thing. Like
exciting.
next year, I'm looking at incorporating the use of AI because they're gonna have to learn it. They're gonna want it to work, right? But I have to. But we have to teach people AI is not meant to cut corners because some people they're just gonna use it. I'm gonna make my movie with AI, everything, right? That doesn't make it quality. That doesn't make it worth watching, right? Um, they're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna do this with AI. And everything because in their case they use it to write a script. They're supposed to write the original script. Had they taken their original script and let AI fix it, grammar, such things like that,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had much of an issue. But what it is, you let you're using its work, it's not using your work.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
And
Say
that's
that
the
again.
difference, right? And that's why I said it's a tool. Whenever the tool becomes the main thing that does all the work, they're saying this now. Think about this: if AI creates it and makes it, it belongs to AI. It cannot be copywritten.
Oh,
So here we go. So Derek said, first off, you have to have a powerful computer to run full movie on AI.
wow.
So, but hey, people, that's where studios come and play. They can afford that, right? The because what I'm saying, independent filmmakers, if I need an explosion in a film, right,
Yes.
I can use AI software to design that explosion and to make it
That's
look
what
real.
that's what Now, see, that's what, like Derek said, B-roll, and to me, some of the effects, if you can't really afford the effects, if you can afford it, come on, pay the people. You know what I mean? If you got the budget, pay the people. But if you don't, and you have to use it, especially, I got to tell y'all something too.
Mhm.
Um, but explosions, car rollovers, buildings blowing up, stuff like that, wrecks. That's what I would think, we would use AI more for because that's something we literally like cannot afford. I can, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, but the special effects of paying for it, like I said, if you have the budget, this is what I'm not going to do. At me, if I have the budget, I'm not going to be.
Yeah, frozen. I'm gonna let her say what her piece is. Because
Stingy and
there's
no.
all right, go ahead, say
Can
it
you hear me
again.
now?
Yeah,
Because I can hear you.
yeah, say it again.
About what? About the being
What you're
stingy?
gonna do if you have the budget.
If I have the budget, I'm not going to be stingy and not pay people. Period. I am not going to do that. And I don't like when people do that. Like when you have I've worked for a filmmaker and he had everybody to come out and do a reshoot for one day, and he refused to pay them, but wanted them to come out for one day to do a reshoot. But then you're on vacation in the Caribbean the next day. I mean, you know what I mean? Like the next week. So I've noted, like, I'm not, come on now. We're all grown. We're not stupid.
Right.
Like, so
But
if you have the budget, pay the people. If you don't, do what you got to do. I get it, but be for real. Because I mean, God has given us stuff to create and putting money in our hands to create, but yet we're not being good stewards about it. Let's be good stewards about what God has given us, period. And that's my
But here's the
60-second
thing: we
share.
have to be careful because I hear what you're saying, TK, and I'm just going to be an devil's advocate for 1 second on this. I can have a budget and I can funnel money elsewhere if I can do this over here for a little bit cheaper. Because everybody does it at some point. They go a little bit cheaper route, and I always tell people you get what you pay for, right? But with this AI, you can, let's say I don't have to hire somebody to really do this, but it does it quicker and it more efficient than if I put a person there. But I mean, because AI, the only thing about AI, it learns from people anyway, right? That's the thing. It's going to learn what you want, learn what you need, or people are training it. But we're all gonna find some way to cut costs or corners a little bit to use money elsewhere in other places. Now I get it. If I brought somebody to do a reshoot, I believe they should get paid, but that should also be negotiated before they even step foot. Like, yo, before we come on your reshoot, we need a contract, or this should be in a contract. It shouldn't be they don't get paid because they showed up for a reshoot. No, that's another day of working. They've actually worked.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? But that's that negotiation there, because before you do something, you need to do your negotiations. Then allow somebody to say, "Oh, I just need you. Oh, I just want you. Oh, just help me out." All this, nah. Look, bro, dog, we got to get paid. So I got to eat. I got gas to put in the car. I got whatever lights need to stay on. I totally understand that with people, and that's the thing. But any and every business is going to find a way to cut costs. There was, we talked about it last week. I don't know if you chimed in.
I listened.
Where the CEO was like, "Oh, we're going to cut management to save $2.something billion, $2.7 billion. We're going to cut managers." This was Bayer, like, the pharmaceutical company, and we're going to let the workers manage themselves.
Right.
Like, people are in the guy high up at the pyramid. This is why I tell people it's so funny they made pyramid schemes. I mean, not schemes, but made pyramids illegal in some ways for certain people. But every business is a pyramid. The guy at the top of the pyramid is going to make the most money. Now, if he knows he needs the people at the bottom to really do the majority of the work, then the people in the middle, those middle people, middlemen, they're going to start shrinking. Because if there's a lot of money to pay this guy to this guy, now is it fair? Not totally, because you do need some of those people. But you know what? You got to sometimes let some companies struggle and break down to figure out they need them. Right? Because look, companies got to go out of business. I remember a hostess went out of business a while back. We were missing our hostess cupcakes for a little bit. Then somebody came out and bought them and brought it back. Like, you got to learn sometimes that, hey, and that's how I look at it. You can't cut everything, but you're going to cut something.
Each his own. Some people are going to cut more corners than others, and some people are going to be need to cut more corners than others, and some people are going to just be stingy. You know what I mean? It's all got to do with character, and when you're running a business, no matter what the business is, it all has to do with character.
Yeah, I think we just have to understand it. But I think if we are more our own business in many ways, like you and I understand it's because we are our own business when we deal with stuff. So we know how to get paid, right? We know how to do our contracts. And if we don't, we mentor each other and guide each other. Hey, what should I throw? I've had plenty of people, hey, what I need to throw up in my contract to cover myself. You need to do this, do this, do this. And I don't know it all. I've called some people and say, hey, what I need to do this, but that's that importance of that circle of people you're building with, that network, and having a mentor and mentoring others and helping others, because I don't want people to be afraid of having their own business. I don't want people to be afraid of being competition for these studios, because they need you. They need to find people. They got to hire people, and they got to be willing to pay those people what they want. They've been able to get away with the contracts they're doing because they find people who are too hungry to understand their needs. See, when you're starving, or you feel like you think you're starving, your mind is messed up. Because I said never make a deal based upon the fact that you need money right now. Make the deal based on the fact that you want to continue having money later.
Absolutely.
And so if you make the deals based on having now, there's some instances where I might make a deal for money right now. That's if it's enough upfront that I don't care about what I'm doing for that right there. Like if I wrote a script and I don't plan on filming it, and I'm willing to sell the script, but take that money to shoot the ones I plan on filming. And it has to be enough for me to make the next 3 or 4 movies I plan on filming. You see what I'm saying? I can understand it. We call them throwaway scripts. We're willing to sell it as a throwaway. We made it. We wrote it.
I got a lot of them. Anybody need a script? Call me.
You know what I'm saying? Like it has a purpose.
For sale. I have about 15 originals or so. But anyway, I have content for sale.
But that's the point, right? We do that on purpose, right? We have a reason. And the mistake that some people make is they take the best thing they want and they take their passion project and they go, oh, I'll sell it. And then they're like, when their passion project is making tons of money, they don't get residuals from it. They have no ownership to it. And they gave it away. And then they're like, oh man, I now think about Sylvester Stallone. He created Rocky. He wanted to be in, he wanted to star in it, but he don't own nothing when it comes to Rocky.
That is so awful. He created it, started it, have no ownership. It's like, that's what back end stuff is for. If you can't pay me up front, you're going to hit me on the back end. I'm going to have a percentage. I'm going to have back end point something.
Right. And you want some level of rights. They can't just use it without you. Because he became the face of Rocky. So you're using him. And I would be like, nah, you can't use my face just for whatever. You can't just make a Rocky movie with all the characters I developed. You can't just, but see, that's the passion. But that should teach everybody else. We should be studying these people and their deals that they make, the contracts that they sign, and be like, okay, we need to do different. Because we know content is king. We know they need it. You can't have something. And here's the thing. Here's the crazy part. And this is just me. But really, most content is advertising. Movies are a form of advertising. You get these studios who make deals with the car company, the beer company, the Coca-Cola company, and they put their product in their films to have their characters using those products. And if they don't do that, they create a fake product for the movie. And so some of your money for, if independent films are that viable and getting that big of an audience or a decent range or stretch of audience, then these advertising companies will deal more so with independent companies making films and put some dollars behind your product. I mean, they already do it, so it's not like they're not going to do it. It's just You got to have the right product for their product to be inserted. It's like knowing Apple does not let villains use Apple products. When you write a movie, you have your heroes use Apple products, and you make a deal with Apple because these companies have money to put in for their advertisement. That's a form of advertising and promoting their products. And then they're going to turn around when your thing is on Tubi or something, and they're going to run a commercial along with it. Think about it. If your character orders a Domino's or Papa John's or whatever pizza, and then while your thing is playing on Amazon, which now runs commercials, or Tubi, and then it's a Papa John's commercial right after, excuse me, that's massive. That's good marketing. That's perfect placement of marketing. And if they cut the scene a little bit right after you see that and go to that commercial.
And go to the Papa John's commercial. Press pause and order now.
Yeah.
Use code TUBI50.
Yo, and what if that was in your films? What if those codes were in your film?
The only thing, let me tell you what I hate about product placement.
Mm-hmm.
Product placement, yes, brings money in, but product placement, I watched a movie one time and they had Little Caesars and I was like, the way that is in your face, and like what was that fantasy football? She had those wise potato chips and the big
Yeah.
bag of potato chips was like in front of the camera. That's what I don't like about product placement because I'm like, so yeah, it's not like 007 drinking that was it the Heineken beer that they paid like $15 million or something to be in the film?
Something.
Some
Yeah.
crazy. It's not like him just drinking the beer. You know what I mean? It's literally like up in the camera like this. That's the thing about product placement to me. I'm like, oh, it's a way to do it subtle,
Yes.
instead of having, like, when you said that, I was thinking about the strip club having the Coca-Cola blinking sign on the wall. You know how they have the beer signs,
Mm-hmm.
but have the Coca-Cola sign. I don't want no beer product placement unless, I mean, the sign is already up. But have the Coca-Cola, just product placement just happen to be on the wall and it makes sense versus interjected and in the scene and it's like this in your face, on the camera. So that's what gets me sometimes about product placement. So I'm always kind of, because you want to watch. I want to watch a movie to enjoy it, not to be advertised to. Which you said, of course, it is a form of advertising, and people are getting money for it. So I get it. But me personally, it's like I don't want to see that big giant Little Caesars box in the screen like for 3 different scenes. Like that's a lot to me
But
because
you
it's
think
too.
about it
It's just in
when
your face.
whenever they do a futuristic movie, that certain things become the product of the future. Remember, Demolition Man make Taco Bell it was different Taco Bell than it was that we're used to, but it was this elegant restaurant now. But it was Taco Bell. If you go back and watch Demolition Man,
Oh, but in that movie with Jamie Foxx, what was the name of that movie? And Dominique Fishburne. Oh, I love her.
uh,
It was they churches. They used churches big as day. They met at churches. Like they
oh,
had
okay,
churches chicken. Yeah, but for Jade, the Dairy Queen, I'm gonna be able to use Dairy Queen and he's gonna get permission. Not only is he gonna give me a super great deal to use it, super, super good,
but are
but
you
he's
getting
also gonna
paid to
get
use it?
corporate permission
But are they
for
going
me
to
to
pay
use.
you? Are they going to cover some of your costs per production? Because that's where you want to get.
Well, no, because he's letting me use it for free. So he's letting me use it for free. And if they get this particular Dairy Queen, they're letting me use it for free to shoot the scene. But if I happen to get something that says DQ, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
They're
people
not.
get
Yeah.
paid to use that. People get paid. Films get paid to put those restaurants in their film. Like, hey, we want everything. If they're eating at McDonald's. If they're eating at this. In a film, and they get paid for that. So you might
So
want to check that out.
I'm gonna contact, yeah, because and the other company, I'm paying them a lot of money. The
Mm-hmm.
burger place I have to pay a whole bunch of money, but it's because I can't take any of their stuff down and I have to use their logo.
So the thing is, will it happen? Will another? So if let's say Burger King said, "Hey, we're fine if you put your characters in our Burger King in your film," that's a form of advertising. You know. So Derek said, "Yep, that's usually on a higher scale."
The
So
yeah, and Pro Burger King, they don't have no grills. I don't know if y'all know this. Burger King has no grills. That
that
little
makes.
smoke coming from the top, I promise you, I don't know where it's coming from. Uh, I DoorDash and the Burger King in Atlanta. I can look in the whole kitchen like it's open kitchen.
TK not
There
supposed to
is
tell
no
them secrets.
grill. But this place I'm using has a grill. But I know it. But here's the thing: I know there are underlying reasons why I'm using certain locations. I know
Mm-hmm.
the way God has everything set up. So it's like some things I'm not really tripping on, but because that they only own like 2 locations. The burger
Okay.
place they only have like 2 locations. Dairy Queen is nationwide, even though it started in Texas. It is nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to check into Burger King, yeah, I'm gonna definitely do that. I'm gonna do that next week. Because yeah. But being able to check into Burger King, but that's why it takes little talks like this to continuously provoke stuff, and that's why you have your circle. Back to your having your circles,
Mm-hmm.
having your circles. So especially people who have done what you have not done, because I'm always on the phone. Hey, hey, hey. I'm always on the phone. I'm not about to I'm not about to go into this and say, well, I didn't know. I'm asking every question that I need to know to everybody. So if your phone rings, it's me, pick it up. Um, but yes. So,
Yeah,
so
I
sorry
mean, you
about
can
all the
find.
interruptions today,
No,
guys.
you're good.
Great
Yeah, we're
conversation.
sorry about that, but we can't help it. We don't
Seven.
control the internet companies.
Yeah,
We
but
need an
phone,
internet company
mobile data.
sponsor.
But it's
We need a
something with the
data
tower.
plan sponsor. Um,
Yeah, it's weird. I'll be back home. I'll be back home next month for sure. But
no, it's
it might
okay.
be a
It's
little
it's everywhere. It's because, like I told you, we had 7 tornadoes hit down. To Wednesday.
yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
like,
and the tornadoes. Dang. We had
you know,
the storms. Port North Dallas. Port North Dallas. Every time we look up, I'm getting a notification on my phone about severe weather. I don't get it. But look, get your life right. But so anyway, get your life right.
but yeah, it's so Derek said real quick, yep, that's usually on a higher scale, and he's talking about that you get paid off product placement. I'm in Maryland, Derek.
I think he's talking about M. Legend Brown
No. He's oh, you talking about M. Legend Brown? You talking about me, Derek? Um,
because he knows where you
I'm
are.
about to say Derek should know where I am. I'm not that far from Philly, but because I know he's in Jersey. Oh yeah, he's talking to me. No, I'm in Maryland. I'm in Maryland. Where along the way where we live, they hit where I work, and then kind of coming towards where I live, and then going up to Baltimore. So, that's
Yeah,
not norm. Like I was telling,
he
because
messes
my
with all
wife
the.
was like, we sat in the bottom room the whole time. My son, my wife, and I with some chairs, just waiting, closed up in the laundry room and stuff, waiting for the tornado stuff to pass. We were like, hey, and I look like, but we live in a hill area. So I was like, well, I never heard tornadoes hit. And this is just me. I've never heard that. My dad always taught me tornadoes mostly hit flatlands. So
Oh, okay. I don't know.
that's what he told me. So I could be wrong. I mean, we take what we learn, but I've never, and then even me, I've never seen a tornado hit a non-flat area. Like if you hit in Texas, it's usually the flatlands. If you hit in Oklahoma, you've always seen tornadoes
Oh,
hit on
yeah.
flatlands. So I was like, well, we're on hills where we live, so it shouldn't come through my. My wife is just like, I don't know, this weather's different right now, huh?
I say it shouldn't, but we're gonna take precaution just in
Yeah,
case.
she was like, we need to go ahead downstairs and lock
Exactly.
up in the laundry room, no windows, no nothing. And so, yeah, he said that's why the Midwest hits so much flat and wide open. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, but Maryland got hit. I was like, wow. I mean, and it was flat area though, when I saw the news. So I was telling her, because I said, when I'm buying a home, I learned one, you don't want to buy on flat land, or you don't want to buy where there's no drainage, because that's where floods happen.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And so even when Texas, we lived in a hill country, so it was like, you want to stay away from those things. But yeah. And that's why I say there was a thing I sent you guys. The actor, he played a lot of different characters. I'm trying to remember what he played, but he said in a video I sent you and Jacoby the other day, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and he was like, read.
Oh, yeah. He said if you want to learn filmmaking, read. And that's what we talk about. That's what we talk about. M. Legend has the story of that. He always talk about how the people like, he's telling them all the books he read to get, what he learned. And they like, no, just tell me the shortcut. Nobody wants to read. Everybody wants the shortcuts. And it's like, read.
Yeah, but even with shortcuts, if I give you the shortcut, I'm missing something that you're gonna need, right? Because it's like, how when we was in school, we used to get those yellow black books,
the Cliff
notes of the stuff, and then they ask us a question that's not in the Cliff Notes, but had you read it, you would know. That's how you get caught.
That's how you get caught. But it's like you get Cliff Notes when you have Cliff Notes when you have experience and know the basics is different from Cliff Notes when you have know nothing and you just want the note. You just want to take the
Right.
shortcut. It's totally different. I can call and get Cliff Notes on stuff because I've been on sets and I've been in the business for 23, 24 years. So I can call and get Cliff Notes because I know basic understanding. So I can be, oh, I know what you're talking about. Oh, okay, I got it. That's different from when you don't know nothing. What Derek say?
Yeah, you have to go out and shoot as well. And that's that reading.
I always tell
I
people
agree
that,
with
Derek.
that. I totally agree with that. No, I
Everybody
take it.
tell every writer that.
Yeah, I tell everybody that I've worked with or done stuff with who wants to do this. I said, hey, just be like I had to tell the actors, get behind the camera someday. Like learn what it is on set to know how much you impact. Because when I know people who are acting and they're like, well, I showed up late. I said, you know what? Try being on the other side of the camera, doing something, and see how the actors impact the set and those things. And then like, I don't tell everybody to act because everybody can't act, but know what goes on, how you impact the whole flow of things, and why if you show up late or you don't show up, how
And when the
people get
makeup lady
impacted.
shows up an hour late every day,
Yeah.
or the wardrobe person is an hour late every. I've been
Yep.
on set with that. With that has happened, and it's like, do you know? And then
She got frozen again. We'll let her finish that when she come right back. But yeah, I agree. Working on something is so much more important than
the makeup, I kid you not, she was gone. I hated hair. Okay, yeah, but it was like she literally showed up an hour late, so we had to go an hour extra, and she was already going home, by then. So we had to wait on her for the top hour and then stay an extra hour late. I was like, oh heck no.
you
So
did something to your computer.
yeah, but
It's getting
understand the
revenge on
impact.
you.
But I tell writers the same thing. Have you been on set? Am I cutting out? I tell actors the same thing. Have you been on set? No, get on set. Like we can't shoot one 10 pages in Colombia and then 10 pages in Russia and then 10 pages in America. I kid you not. You laughing? I'm telling you, I've
No,
had it.
yo, it's
Baby,
funny though, TK. Though, but now you can. You don't have to ever leave the studio, but you can.
this is true.
Because now you have these screens.
Hey, he was above his time. He was before his time. There you go. He was before his time. But I'm like, baby, get on set. Like, get on set. So, talk about those shortcuts.
Yeah.
Being in the kitchen, walking out the front door, walking down the steps, getting in the car, driving off, driving down the street, getting out the car, walking up to work, the stairs to work, walking down the hallway, then into the office. No, just cut from him leaving out the and him walking into the office. Like you cut so much money, but understanding what
And
each setup
time.
takes. They
Like,
don't
is that
understand each setup
important?
takes an hour to 2 hours
Yeah, you got.
when you haven't been on set. So anyway, everybody, if you're gonna get in this business, period, whatever the position, get on set.
Read and get on set. Read, get on. Wait,
set. So you can understand what you're doing.
Find a circle to help guide you. Read and get on set. See those three things?
There you go.
I say life flows in threes. Those three things will help it out. Have a mentor to guide you. That's probably I add that to your circle though. But yeah. But because I love this stuff. And because Jacoby's right now is filming a short film. He just sent us pictures.
Yes.
And he's using his Sony camera. I'm gonna throw this out there before we hit that 60-second jewel. Canon is releasing a 6K camera come towards late August, early September, or mid-September. In between that time, it's going to be about $7,000, or $799 or something like that, right? So it's really $8,000, but it's a 6K camera. It's kind of a box camera, so it's Canon. That's actually cheap, man.
No, I'm saying 6K.
My other camera cost me
talking about from
$5,000.
1080 to 6K, right? Like 1080.
Oh yeah, we've jumped from we're like HD
what
was
I'm
the
talking
thing,
about. That's what I was like,
and then
dang.
we've gone from 4K was a thing to 6K and 8K. So we're at them Ks now, but like I think 4K is kind of the standard at this point. Yeah, Blackmagic also really. Jalen Daniel said Blackmagic also released a camera, which is true.
Okay.
And again,
Black
it just
Magic.
depends on you guys. I'm not saying go out and buy these cameras or equipment. You can use your iPhone. It does pretty decent from what I'm seeing, especially in the Apple log. So, I mean, things are happening. But at the end of the day, Jacoby's out filming. I had to throw that slide to Jacoby on the camera thing because we go back and forth about cameras for play.
Y'all sure do.
Which is funny. Lewis uses his Blackmagic camera. Jacoby uses the Sony camera. He had the Komodo before that. And
So
then he
what's
had
the
a Canon
Blackmagic camera coming out? Jalen talking about.
I forgot its name. It's the complaint about it is that the screen is on the side, and it's
on the
I
side.
think
What
it's
you mean on the
12K.
side?
It's on the side of the camera, so it's not coming out folded out like the other Black Ursa Mini.
They must have a workaround there because I know they
You're
didn't
gonna hook a
release a
monitor up to it.
camera.
What you expect is on a film set that people are running monitors. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. We do expect that people are using some sort of monitor, especially the director and other crew. They're looking from a monitor to see what's going on. And of course, you're gonna put a small monitor on the camera anyway, for you to see, and then your focus puller and so forth. So, yeah. So, like Derek just said it right there. He said it's made to hook up to a monitor. And that's the thing when people go, oh, it doesn't have this. I'm like, yeah, but they know you're gonna do this. That's why they're really not worried as much as you think, much as you were worried for whatever reason. Because I'm looking at monitors right now. I'm looking at them for work and then myself afterwards. But yeah, because there's one on sale for like $5 something. As a quad monitor. It had 4 screens. Because I was like, if you could run 3 or 4 cameras, shoot from different angles, you can kill your production time quick. All right. So, TK, what is your 60-second jewel?
I gave it earlier. If you have the budget, don't be stingy and make sure you're paying people fairly and be fair.
All right, there you go.
I have to say. Yeah.
This is a business. Everybody said in Purple Rain, this is a business. You ain't too far from knowing that. Hey, we got to make sure we're studying the business. We are creatives. That's the beautiful part about it. And when creatives are business minded at the same time as they are creative, oh man, right. We're dangerous. We're just as dangerous.
Yes.
Because I'm thinking like the studios are going to be heavily invested in AI so they can cut a lot of costs and a lot of people. We could be heavily invested in AI so we can improve quality and get people. But also, let me think about this. AI is going to be running platforms, right? So they're going to know what your audience likes. So that's what hurts the studios because they're all selling. Look, Paramount's looking at selling. Paramount looking at selling their platform. Max is connecting kind of with Disney. So what else is going to happen, right? Tubi's on its rise. Netflix, Amazon have all shifted over to commercial-based content on their platform, which means you either pay more money and have no commercials, or you pay cheaply and they run ads like they do on television on your stuff, which almost makes you feel like, why am I paying for this if I can go watch TV? And we already pay for TV because we pay for cable. So we're going to have to find a way to shift the game to work in our favor to help our customers. Because our customers are going to get tired. But again, that's why I said, focus advertising within the films. But I wonder if AI is going to do that later.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? Focus advertising. So like if AI controls the movie, if you're watching it, but they know that you're really interested in Coca-Cola, will the character be drinking Coca-Cola, but somebody else will see them drinking Pepsi? TK got stuck. But that's something to think about. Like, where are we going to go with this? How? But I'm telling you guys, AR, VR, I think if we start filming movies in AR, VR and give that 3D and that augmented reality feel to stuff, I think we'll change it, and we'll put people sitting in your movies and in your films. It's something I want to play with in the next coming within months. At least with some shorts at first. But we appreciate you guys. I don't know if TK is jumping back in or she's cut out. I don't know if she's saying anything you can hear, but we appreciate you guys. We love you guys, and we thank you for hanging out with us at the Black Filmmakers Lounge Saturday morning in the industry shop talk. And let me drop that in. So we we want you to know that even though with our difficulties, we appreciate and love you guys. Like, subscribe, share, follow us on our YouTube channel. We're going to start shifting over that way. But remember that the Black Filmmakers Lounge is where independent filmmakers, where novelists or professionals come together to gain insight, perspective through education, information, networking, and to discuss industry best practices that will advance the Black interdependent film community. So we're going to keep this going. We love you guys. Get out there, film something, have some fun, do what it is, read, play around with your cameras, whatever, make something. Do what you got to do. We love y'all. We hope you have a blessed weekend, and we'll talk to you next week. All right? Peace. Like, subscribe, share, and we out. Thank you, TK, Jacoby. Catch you back next week, man. All right. Peace. And TK said, thanks for hanging out with us.